Now, SQL stands for Structured Query Language. Anybody wants to share something about SQL? Or in other words, why do we need a language? Why do we need a language? To communicate, absolutely. Right, to interact, to communicate, to store data, right, in journal. We will make the things to make our life easy, absolutely. To talk with computer, very good. Wonderful answers. SQL is like a database to organize the data. Slightly correct, Manas. I will not say it is 100% correct. I will not call SQL as a database. SQL, as the name says, Structured Query Language. It is a language, right? Thank you for your responses. So SQL is a language which we use to interact with the computer. Okay. Now in computer, what is the most important thing? The most important thing is the data, right? So the data is the most important thing. And the primary task which we have is to manage and maintain that data, manage and manipulate the data. That is what the primary important task we have in this digital world. Let me give you an example. These days we shop through many e-commerce websites. Okay, let's take an example of Amazon. We all use Amazon. Okay, but we have to create our login credentials only once. So if I'm going on the Amazon or any of the e-commerce website for the first time, I have to create my login credentials. But next time when I log into the same website, I need not to create the credentials again. My data is there. I just have to provide the user ID and the password. So what all the information provided by me, the data provided by me has been saved somewhere, so that once required, it can be fetched. So how, where is the data going? Again, take an example of Amazon. Millions of products, millions of users are available on Amazon. How come? Have you ever thought that you have, if you are searching for something on Amazon, let's take iPhone. You type iPhone on Amazon and within few seconds you are getting the result. How it is happening? So that is all because of SQL. Because your data is being managed properly. That is why we are able to get what we are looking for. Okay, so now you understand the importance of the data we have. So to store the data, we need some platform. So first thing is the data. Second thing is the platform. How can we store the data? So to store data, we need a platform, and that platform is known as RDBMS. Right, that platform is known as RDBMS, which stands for Relational Database Management System. Okay, which is used to maintain and manipulate the data. Some of the commonly known names in RDBMS are SQL Server, MySQL, Oracle, MS Access. These are some commonly known RDBMSs. Okay. So now you have two things. You have data, and second you have RDBMS, the platform. Now, if you want to keep the data into the platform, or you wanted to retrieve the data from the platform, you have to talk to the platform. You have to communicate with the platform. And for communication, you need a language, and that language is SQL. You can take an example. As of now, we are communicating. I'm communicating with you all. So I have to use a language which all of us can understand. If I start using some other language which you people cannot understand, or you start speaking in a language which I cannot understand, we will not be able to communicate. So I will be using either English or Hindi, which all of us can understand. Correct? So similarly, to interact with the platform, we need a language that is SQL. My screen is not moving, absolutely, because I am not moving the screen. Now it will move. right? So I was just elaborating on what is SQL. Okay, so here it goes. What is SQL? It is a structured query language, which is a computer language for storing, manipulating, and retrieving the data from the RDBMS, which I have just told you. Why SQL? Why do we need this language? Anything which needs to be done on the data, we need SQL for it, like allow the user to access the data in the RDBMS, allow the user to describe the data, allow the user to define the data in the database and manipulate the data, and allow the user to create and drop the database and the tables. So in one word, anything has to be done, we need to use SQL. So this is the structure of SQL. This blue box which is in front of you, no drawings please. The blue box which is in front of you, it is representing an RDBMS. Okay, and now you can see this orange cylinders over here. These orange cylinder represents the database. Within one RDBMS, there could be multiple databases. And within the database, we have a collection of rows and column, which is known as table. So the horizontal one are the rows and the vertical are the columns. Rows are also referred to as records and columns are also referred to as fields. Okay, so this is the basic structure of RDBMS. Just to make it more clear, you can say that this RDBMS, just compare this RDBMS as your society, the society where you live, your apartments, your society, right? So within the society, we have multiple blocks, block A, block B, block C. Okay, so these blocks can be represented by the database. So database is just like a blocks. One society, multiple blocks. One RDBMS, multiple databases. And within the database, within the blocks, what do we have? We have flats. So similarly, within one database, you can have multiple tables. And within the flats, we have rooms. So that rooms can be considered as this, sorry, as the rows and the columns. And the data within the table can be compared with the people residing within the room. Is clear? So that is the structure of RDBMS. My screen is not moving. Okay, I think, is it all okay? Right? So no need of putting a camera on, that is not required over here. I just wanted to deliver. Okay. So you can just focus on the screen. And okay, yes. So I'm getting a confirmation that everything is going on. Okay, right. Fine, thank you. So here we have talked about, so this is the SQL structure. Then the SQL process over here, we have, so how does the SQL work? So the command which we write in SQL is known as SQL query. So the computer only understands the machine language, that is the language of 0 and 1. So the command which you write is, there is something known as query language processor, which converts the command to a binary language, which is passed to the database engine, which in turns actually performs the operation on the database and gives you the result. Okay, so this is how the SQL process works. Now, till now we have got introduced towards the database, RDBMS, and SQL. Data which we need to store, database in which we will be storing the database, in which we will be storing the data. RDBMS is the platform to maintain and manipulate the database, and SQL is the language which we are using to interact with the RDBMS. SQL environment. Right, now let's talk about the place where you will be writing the commands. Okay. And whenever you will executing any command, you will be getting two tabs at the bottom. One is the messages and another is the result. As of now, you are not getting the result tab because you have not, I have not given any appropriate command, right? So it is giving a error message over here. And on the left hand side, this is known as Object Explorer. Object Explorer means just like in Windows, we have Windows Explorer. Similarly, in SQL, we have Object Explorer, which is used to explore your server. And on the top, you can see this is the name of the server. Here it is. This is the name of the server on my computer. Okay. All right. So this is the SQL environment. So editor, explorer, results, messages. Now categories of SQL. SQL has divided the major command into the various categories. And the benefit of putting it into the categories is that the impact of command is very much predictable. Like the first we have is a DDL. The first category of the SQL commands is DDL, which stands for data definition language. Data definition language, which contains the command which impacts the structure, like creation, destroying, or making the changes, alteration. So the commands which falls in the in this category are create, alter, and drop. Now, supposingly, okay. So we were talking about the data definition language in which we have the command like create, alter, and drop. Creation means like creating of a table. If I am creating a database, I am creating a table. That is a part of data definition language. Alter means making the changes to the structure. Again, I will take an example. Suppose in your society, there is a huge area lying vacant. But now, please no drawing. Please don't do these things. As okay, so as I was saying that there is a empty area in your society and you have created, and now your society has created a temple over there. So that will be a structural change in the layout of your society. Okay, so that is creation. Alteration. In your house, there was a big balcony, but you get it covered and converted to a room. That is known as alteration in the house. Drop. Drop means to destroy. There was an old parking in your society which has now been demolished. That is known as drop. Okay. Then we have DML, which stands for data manipulation language. It does not impact the structure. It only impacts the data. That is insert, update, and delete. Inserting means inserting the new data, updating means changing the existing data, and deleting means deleting the data. Remember, any command which is a part of DML will only impact the data and not the structure. Then we have DQL. It stands for data query language. As you know, query means to inquire, and here we have the command called select. So this is used to retrieve the data from the table. Next, we have DCL, which stands for data control language, where we have the command like grant and revoke. And these are the commands that are majorly used by the database administrators and not by the developer to give the access right to the different users. Okay. Now, so here in this slide, I'm just trying to show you the table. So we were talking about creation of the database. So as I told you, SQL is not as I told you, SQL is not case sensitive. So you can write in uppercase or a lowercase. So I have created a database. Create database is the command, and here is the name I have given. Every statement in SQL needs to be terminated by a semicolon. Let me select this and execute. You will see command completed successfully. So my command has been created successfully. Also notice on the top over here, it is something master is written. So this is the default database in SQL. Master is the default database in SQL, and always before starting working in SQL, please ensure that you should be in an appropriate database. So let's get into this database which we have just created, and for which we have a command called use web2. Command completed successfully, and you will see over here the name is web2 now. Okay, so this is how we have created a database and we have got inside the database. What software is it? Oh, it is SQL Server. Yes, I just told you that we are using SQL Server as a base to learn SQL. Okay, now, so we created a database. Now, after creating a database, let's create a table. So the command is create table. Sorry, let me name it as STU. Execute. So to execute any command, you have to select it and press F5, or you can click on the execute button. Okay, so let me explain this command which I have written. Create table is the command. STU, I have taken it as the name of the table. You can take it any name you like. Within the parenthesis, I am specifying the name of the fields. So I have three fields in this, which are roll number, name, and age. In SQL, whenever you create a field, you also have to specify what type of data the particular field will contain. So I have specified that the roll number will be of integer type, which means it will contain some numbers. Name will be of character type, and whenever we will specify the character, it means character. Whenever we specify the character, it means any keyboard character. And I also have to specify the size. So my name can be maximum up to 5 characters long. And age is again taken as a numeric data type. Okay, this is numeric data type, and every field needs to be separated by a comma. So you can say roll number of integer type, comma, name of character type with size 5, comma, and age of integer type. Selected, executed it, it has been created. Now we have created a table, so it is a one-time activity. If I try to create it again, it will give me an error message that the table already exists. So one-time activity, we created the table. Now, once the table has been created, the next step is to inserting the data into the table. So let's try to insert the data, and the command is insert into the name of the table. Within the parentheses, I will specify the name of the field, that is roll number, name, and age. We have the keyword value. Then it will take the values which needs to be inserted. So let me say 1, comma, Ajay, comma, let's take 12, and let's execute it. One row affected. So how did I return the command? insert into the name of the table, within the parentheses, the name of the fields in which the data needs to be inserted, values, and within the parentheses, the actual values which needs to be inserted. Okay. Now I wanted to see the data from this table. That means I wanted to retrieve, for which we have a command called select. Select. What do I wanted to see? I wanted to see the roll number, name, age from the name of the table. There it goes. So now as my command is giving the visible output, I am getting another tab called results over here. Right. So I have a table with the name STU in which I have one record. Let us try to insert one more record over here. One row affected. Let us select this. You can see that the record has been inserted. Now, if you have observed, is there any difference between the first and the second command which I have written over here? Do you find any difference between these two commands, insert command? Can anybody highlight? Yes, I'm getting some response. Yes. What is the difference? Quickly tell me the difference which you observed. Field list. Absolutely correct, Meenakshi. Good. So here in the first one, I have specified the name of the field, but in second, I have not specified the name of the field. So by this, I just wanted to highlight that while inserting the data into the table, it is optional to specify the name of the fields. Now, when it is optional, in which scenario it is required to specify the name of the field? So let's try to insert one more record over here. Insert into STU values. Let's execute this and see what happens. Now I am getting an error. Assuming I don't know the age of the Rohan and I wanted to insert this record, but SQL will not allow me to insert this record because in the table there are 3 fields and I am inserting the data only for 2. But if I wanted to insert it, how can I do it? So here I need to specify the name of the field. That is roll number, comma, name. Now try to do it. It has been done. Let's select. So you can see the record has been inserted without the age. Okay. So, and let's take one more example over here. Insert into STU. Let's take values. Now in my table, there are 3 fields and I am inserting the data for 3 fields. Let's see what happens. I am getting an error message over here. Why? Because the sequence of the field is different. So let me make it. If I wanted to insert in this sequence only, so I can say name, comma, roll number, comma, age. And by mistake, I have put in a quote over here. It is not required. Here it goes. The record has been inserted. Let us check. Here it is. Right. So by this, what we can conclude? We can conclude that it is mandatory to specify the name of the fields while inserting the data into the table if either the sequence of the values or the number of values is different from sequence or number of the fields within the table. Okay. Shivam, I am using SQL Server as I told you initially, right? So don't worry about the software which we are using. This is SQL Server. Let me write it for all. I'm using SQL Server, and I will also tell you how and you can install it. Okay. I am not going to get into the shortcuts. Yes, we can insert multiple records at a time, but as of now, no shortcuts. Let us go with the step-by-step method only. Yes, this is a good question. Somebody highlighted about TSQL as well. So when I was talking about the DDL, sorry, TSQL you are talking about, TSQL is known as transactional SQL. Okay, so what is it? We will just talk about after some time. Absolutely, yes. The whenever you are putting the text should always be within the quotes, and the number should never be within the quotes. Okay, so you can be with me, and I will ask you, will you share the recording of the session I joined lately? Yes, admin team will be sharing the recording with you. Yes, you can, Manas, we can add multiple records. That's what I just said. At a single time, you can, but I'm not going with that. We will come to the date of birth as well. Okay, please hold on with the question for some time. I will give you the time to ask the questions. Otherwise, I will not be able to cover what I have to deliver in this. Okay. Right. Okay. So here we have seen, oh, one more point you can notice over here. Whenever I need to fetch the data from the table, and as of now, there are only 3 columns or 3 fields in the table. So if I wanted to see all the fields, I have written select roll number, name, and age from the table name. But in the real-time scenario, you may be having 50, 60, 100, or more than that fields may be having. Now, writing the name of the field every time will be quite troublesome. So you can also write this command as select star from STU. You can call it star, asterisk, all, whatever you wanted to call it. If you want to see the data from all the fields, rather than specifying the name of the fields, you can simply specify the select star. Okay, I hope it is clear. So let's go back to the PPT, and we have seen how to create a database, how to create a right. So we have seen uh, how to retrieve the data from the table using the select statement. Now comes the SQL data types. Here it is. Now comes the SQL data types. Now, what is data type? Data type specifies the type of data SQL will contain. Data type specifies the type of column, the type of data the respective column will contain. Example, like we have the different data types over here, like numeric data type, character data type, and others. And to make it more simpler, I can simply say, just visualize that there are 2 glasses in front of you. You can put water in any glass and you can put milk in any glass. But in case of SQL, if you have two glasses in front of you, you have to clearly specify in which in which glass you wanted to put the milk and in which glass you have to put the water. You will not be able to put water in the glass of milk and milk in the glass of water. Okay. So that is known as specifying the data type. Data type specify the type of data the respective field will contain. In the first, we have the numeric data type. Numeric data type, in which the first one we have is a int. Int means any number 0 to 9, any number can be stored in an integer data type. And this table, you need not to remember this, just for your reference. Any number which is lying within this range, negative to positive, can be stored in an integer data type. However, if you have a smaller number, you can also take it as a small int where the range is between this and this, negative to positive. However, integer data type is not capable of holding the decimal places. For an example, if you have to store a number like 93.28, right? 93.28. If this is the number which needs to be stored, you cannot store it in the integer data type as it is not able to handle the decimal. So in that case, you can take either decimal or float. One and the same thing, the only difference is between the range. Decimal is 10 raised to the power 38 plus 1, negative 2 positive. And float, it is a big number, so it is coming in a scientific notation. Also, you can take it as a monetary money data type if you are talking about the monetary data, and you can see that the change in the range. It's a bigger range which you are getting over here in the monetary data. Okay, so these are the numeric data type. Normally, we go with the integer or float. Okay, then the second slot we have is the character data type, in which we have is the char data type. Char means character. Remember, character means any keyboard character, which includes A to Z, 0 to 9, and all the special characters. So that means numbers can also be stored in a character data type. Okay, and with a maximum length of 8,000 characters. Now, if you notice, when I have created this name data type over here, I have given this size as 5. I can give it 10, 20, 100, 200. Maximum up, I can go up to 8,000 characters. That is the limit of character data type. And just like character data type, we have another data type which is known as varchar. Varchar, which can also store any keyboard character, that is A to Z, 0 to 9, and all the special character can be stored in a varchar data type with a maximum length of 8,000 characters. However, if you have a requirement of storing more than 8,000 characters, you can take it as a text data type. For you can take an example like, many a times while filling some online forms, you get an option of write a cover letter, copy paste your CV, provide your feedback. So, sorry. So here there is a possibility that the user may write more than 8,000 characters. So we can take it as a text data type. I was expecting this question, difference between char and varchar. So varchar, as the name says, variable character. So let me give you an example in a different manner for this. And this is the important thing, and this is the most basic questions asked in the interview, difference between char and varchar. Supposingly I take char name, sorry, 10, name 10. So I'm creating the data type of, one is of character type and one is of varchar type. Let's try in this manner. Now, suppose you stored the name Amit into the character data type. So A-M-I-T. And you also stored Amit in a varchar data type. So A-M-I and T. This is how the data is stored. So if you create a character data type of size 10, so in the memory, 10 memory will be allocated for this name. A memory for the 10 characters will be allocated for the name, and the same thing will happen in a varchar as well. Now, if we see, we have blocked the memory of 10, but we utilized only 4. I'm talking about character. Blocked 10, utilized 4, but character will not, in the character data type, it will not make any difference to the character how much is the utilization. It will always block the memory for the 10 characters. However, in varchar, where var stands for variable character, it will whenever you store the data into the varchar data type, SQL will always check the utilization. So it will see it has blocked the space for the 10 characters, but it has utilized only 4. So rest of the remaining 6 will be released. So it will be a better memory utilization if we are using a varchar data type. Okay, I hope you got the answer. Right, this was the second question which I was expecting. So varchar is better to use? No, it is not that every time varchar is better to use, because it totally depends on the data. If your data is such where the size of the data is keeps on fluctuating, like name, address, city, where name could be Ram, it could be Ramesh, or it could be Rameshwar. So there is a probability of fluctuation in the size. Let's take city. City could be Goa, it could be Delhi, or it could be Vishakhapatnam. So again, there is a possibility of the fluctuation. In this case, varchar is better. However, let's think about the employee ID. The employee ID could be E0001, E0002, E00123, whatever, right? So in this, if you will see the length of the employee ID, no matter what the employee ID is, but the length remains the same. Okay, the length remains the same. So that is, in this case, character is a better option, because if we are sure that how many characters will be entered, why should I bother SQL to take an extra efforts and check how many have been inserted, how many utilization is there, when I am sure that every time all the 5 spaces will be utilized, right? So you have to see, depending on the requirement of the data, what has to be done. Right. So if you have given a 10 length, you will not be able to store the data of more than 10 length. So we always take the maximum whatever we are expecting and we give that. So that is the limit we are giving. Okay. So then the next type of data type, we have a date time data type, in which the first one is a date time data type. If you wanted to store the date along with the time, you can take it as a date time data type, and you can see the range which is in front of you. Then we have a small date time. If the date range is comparatively smaller, you can take a small date time, and this is the range between this. Then if you only want to store the date and not the time, like date of birth of the employee, date of joining of the employee, where the time factor is not required, so you can take it as a date. Or suppose only you wanted to store the time and not the date, then you can store it as a time, like login time, logout time, it could be the time only. Then you have a miscellaneous data type, in which you have a data type called image. Many a times you have seen that while filling some online form, you are being asked to upload your photograph, upload your company logo, etc. So you have been asked to upload some image file. So that image file can also be stored in the database and as an in an image data type. And you have also noticed this is the maximum length. So you also seen when you have been asked to store the data type, the image, they also mentioned the maximum image size could be this much. So this is the reason behind it. Okay, so these are the various SQL data types. So the difference between date time and small date time, as you can see, no difference when it comes to the storing of the data, only the range is different, as it is very much visible over here. The range is different. Okay. Okay. And here comes your first assignment. So I have also tried to include some of the assignments. I will just tell you how to install SQL Server. So once you install, you can try this assignment so that you can get a better value of this module. Right? So in this assignment, you have to create a table, you have to insert the data, and you have to verify the data using the select command, the data which you have inserted. So create a database with the name demo, in which you will be creating a table called EMP with the following fields like employee ID, name, address, city, date of birth, phone, and email ID. The ID should be, the employee ID should be like E0001, E0002, E0003, and so on. And you need to insert somewhere around 10 records into the employee table and use the select command to view the contents of the employee table. So this is exactly what we have done till yet. Okay, so clear. And let's quickly see the data type also over here, employee ID. What should be the data type of employee ID? It should be char, not varchar, because the length is fixed. E0001, E0002. So 5, char 5 can be taken, name can be taken as a varchar. You can take 20, 30 the size. Address can also be taken as a varchar with the size of 20, 30. City could also be varchar. Date of birth should be date. Phone number can be taken as a char. Okay, why char? Because first of all, we do not have to do any calculation on the phone number. Secondly, there is a possibility of the special characters in the phone number, like the country code +91 hyphen parenthesis can be included, right? So phone could be taken as char 15, considering the entry of the country code as well. And email should be again the varchar. Okay, so this is the assignment which has to be done. And yes, for what we will be covering, all these commands can be covered over there also, Shivam. Okay, so before I proceed to the next topic, I think admin team wants to share something with you. So I would like to invite the admin team, somebody from the admin team, so that they can share something with you. All right. So just 1 second. Okay, now let's talk about installing the SQL Server. So here I have given you the link. You can click on this link. It will take you to the download page of the SQL Server, where you need to download the two files. You just need to click on download, and assuming that you are using Windows either 7 or 10, 64-bit normally we use. So the file which you need to download is 123. Third from the tab, that is SQL Express x64 ENU. This is the first file, and the second file is the last one, that is SQL Management Studio x64.enu. The total size will be 880 MB. So you just click on next and the download will automatically start. Once the file has been downloaded, first of all, double click on this downloaded file so that it can be installed. You just have to follow the on-screen instructions, and once you double click on it, a dialog box will come which will prompt you for a fresh installation or an upgrade. So you will say fresh installation. And post that, just follow on-screen instructions. You just have to click next. The SQL Server will automatically be installed. Now, this particular file is the server file, and the second Management Studio is the client. So as of now, my machine is working as the server as well as the client over here. Okay. So you have to install the server as well as the client. So the interface which I am using over here, which you are asking, so this is SQL Server Management Studio, right? So which is the client file which you need to install. So I hope installation part is clear. Now proceeding further, the next thing which comes up over here is SQL clauses. Now, what do you mean by clause? Clause means a condition. You can take an example when we uh, um, when we get some agreement. Let's take an example of rent agreement. We have a lot of clauses. So what does clause means? Clause means a condition. So let's see over here. Okay, I will just share the link also with you. So here is the download link for SQL. Right. So the where clause, the first clause is the where clause. So let me give you an example. And I have another database over here with the name test. So I will say, I have a table over here with the name EMP. Right. So you can see I have 133 records into this table. Here it goes. Just focus on the city, Delhi, Gurgaon, Pune, Delhi, Noida, and so on. Right. So we have Mumbai, etc. So we have the employees from the different cities. Now, supposingly, I want to see the list of only the employees who are from Delhi. So I am putting a condition while retrieving the data that I'm saying to SQL, bring the data of the employees, but only the employees who are from Delhi. Okay, so select star from EMP where city is equal to Delhi. So you can see I'm getting only 35 records over here. So I'm getting only 35 records over here, and you can see the city, all who are there from Delhi. So that is the where clause over here. Very important, and we use it very, very frequently. The next clause we have over here is the like clause, and this clause is used for pattern matching. Now, what do you mean by pattern? Pattern is like, I want the list of all those employees whose name starts with R. Okay, or I want the list of all the employees whose last name is, let's take Gupta, etc. Okay, so this becomes a pattern. Okay, so importing is quite far. So I will see if I can cover it in the end of the module. But as of now, I cannot tell you about the import and all as of now. Please focus on this, what we are covering. So we are talking about, I want to get the details of all the employees whose name starts with, let's take A. So I will say select start from EMP where name like. Now it should start with A and followed by anything. So for anything, we have percentage over here. So like operator has given us two operators, like clause has given us two operators, that is percentage and underscore, where percentage represents any number of characters and underscore represents a single character. Okay, so where name like A percentage, let me execute this, and here it goes. I'm getting 38 records over here, and you can see all the employees whose name starts with A. Okay. Now let's take another example. I want to get the details of all the employees whose last name is Gupta. So select start from EMP where name like it should start with anything but should end with Gupta. So you can see you are getting the list of all the Guptas over here. We have 12 Guptas in our company. Okay, let's say I want to get the list of all the employees whose name is of 4 characters. Or let's take 5 characters. So 4 or 5 characters. So I will say select star from EMP name, where name like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can see I'm getting 2 employees over here whose name is of 5 characters, that is David and Annual. Okay, clear? Now let's take another example. I want to get the details of, let me say, let's start from EMP. Just focus on this. Yahoo.com, yahoo.co.in, Gmail, Outlook. I want to get the details of all those employees who have an email on Yahoo domain. So what could be the query? So the query could be select start from EMP where email like percentage Yahoo percentage. Where I missed the code over here. So I'm getting all the one where the user have 23 people have a email on Yahoo domain. Okay. And okay, let's take one more example. I want to get the list of all those employees whose third character of the name is M. So I will say select star from EMP where name like 1, 2, third character is M and followed by anything. Ramesh, Komal, Sameer, Komal, Pami, and Raman. So the third character is M over here. Okay. So here I have given you the different examples of a like operator so that you can see in the first example, we are using the percentage in the end. The second example, we are using the percentage in the starting. In the third example, we are using the underscore. In the fourth example, we are using the percentage in the starting as well as in the end. And in the fifth example, we are using a combination of underscore and percentage. So using this underscore and percentage, you can create the patterns. Okay. So this was the like clause. The next clause we have over here is the top clause. Top clause is used to retrieve the first specified number of records. If I simply say select start from EMP, I have 133 records. Suppose I only want the top 3 or top 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want the first 5. So I can simply say select top 5 asterisk from EMP. So I'm getting the first 5. Remember, top does not mean any sort of a ranking. Top does not mean any sort of a ranking. It is just for specifying the first 5. Okay, so this was the top clause. Now let us talk about few more statements over here. The next command which comes up over here is the update command. Right. Now, as I told you, update, and I will go back to the database which we have created, that was web 2. Right. L web 2. Now select star from STU. Okay. Now update is a part of which category? Update is a part of DML, data manipulation language. So it will only impact the data. Supposingly, I want to change the age of Rohan to 14. So I wanted to make the changes. So I will simply say update table name set column name equals to value where say roll number equals 3. Let me execute this. One row affected. You can see that the age of Rohan has been changed to 14. So let's repeat the command over here. Update table name set column name equals to value. Now, if I only execute this much, update table name set column name is equal to value, what will happen? The age of all the students will be updated to 14. So that's why it is important to specify the where condition. If I want to update or make the changes to a selective record, I have to specify the where condition. Simple the update command. The next command which we have over here is the delete command, which is used to delete the contents of the table. So to delete, supposingly I want to delete the detail of Manoj, so I can simply say delete from table name where roll number is equal to 4. One row affected. Let us check. So the record has been deleted. And once deleted means deleted, you can never get it back. Okay. So it has been deleted. You will not be able to get it back. And or you can also write the delete statement like delete table name where condition. Let's take roll number equals 3. One row affected. Let us check. You can see the record number 3 for the roll number 3 has also been deleted over here. So the from keyword is basically optional. Either you write delete from table name or you write delete table name. It is one and the same thing. Okay. Then let me say, supposingly, I simply write delete from table name. What will happen? What will happen in this case? Let us check. 2 rows affected. Let us see. All the records has been deleted. The table will remain, but all the records will be deleted over here. Sorry, I have a slightly bad throat. Okay, so right. So to give you more examples, I have to insert the record once again. So I'm inserting the record. Please don't say that I'm getting it back. I'm doing the things once again. So I have inserted the records once again. There it goes. Okay, now supposingly I simply write delete table name. Can anybody tell me what will happen in this case? Yes, where clause is compulsory in the sense if you wanted to delete or update a particular report. Delete the table. Okay, all will delete. Right. So as you have responded, the table will be deleted. Let us see what happens. I will say delete STU 4 records affected. I will say select star from STU. The table is still there. right? Remember, delete is a part of data manipulation language, so it can never impact the structure. Removing the table is a structural change. So a delete command can never remove the table, never destroy the table. It can only impact the data. And as I told you initially, either you write delete from table name or you write delete table name. It is one and the same thing. So in both the cases, only the records will be deleted and not the table, right? And to give you the further examples, I have to reinsert the records. So let me insert the records once again. Here it goes. So this was the delete command. The next command which we have over here is alter. And alter is a part of DDL, data definition language. So if you want to make some structural change to the data, then you have to use alter command. Sorry, structural change to the table. Any structural change alter command will be used. Now, what type of structural change can be done? Let us say, if this is the table, what sort of a structural change can be done? Either I can add a new column, or I can remove a particular column, or I can change the attributes of a particular column. So let's try to do this thing. So supposingly, I wanted to insert a column called class. So I will say alter table name, add class. For an example, command completed successfully. Let us check. So you can see in the table, a new column is there with the name class, and there will be no values because I have recently added this column. If I want to make, supposedly I want to make the class of all the students uh, as sixth, for an example, which command I will use? So I want to make the changes to the data. So the command will be update. Update table name, set column name is equal to value. Now, do I need to specify the where clause? I don't need to. Why? Because I wanted to update all the records. 4 rows affected. Okay. So this is how it can be done. So this is alter command we have used to add a column. Now, supposingly I want to remove this particular column with the name class. So again, alter. Alter table name, drop column class. Drop means to destroy. See, the newly added column has been removed from. Right. Now, let us try to insert one more record over here. I'm trying to insert one more record. Insert into SQL values 5, comma. Let's try to insert and see, I am getting an error message. Why I am getting an error message over here? Why there is an error message? Because if you remember, when we created the table, we have specified the size as 5. But now I'm inserting a name, the length is more than 5 characters. So in this case, I have to alter the length of the column. So again, I will say alter table name, alter column name varchar 20. It's done. Now let's try to insert this record, and the record has been inserted. You can see the width of the column has been increased. The length of the column has been increased. So this is the alter command we have over here. Okay. All right. So let's see what comes next. So this was the alter command. Then we have a drop command. Drop, very, very powerful command. And in the real-time scenario, very less number of people have the privilege to use this command. That is drop command. Drop means to destroy. Suppose I simply write drop table name. Sorry, drop table name and execute. Command completed successfully. Now you write invalid object name. The table does not exist. The table has been destroyed. Everything gone, finished. Nothing will be there. Okay, so the table may be having thousands of records. One command has been destroyed everything from here. So these three words, very, very powerful. And supposingly, if you write the command called drop database, and it is web 2. Let's execute this. It cannot drop this. Why? Because I'm currently inside web 2 and I cannot drop the database in which I am sitting. So for this, I have to come out to the from this database. So I will say use test. Let's go to any other database and now say drop database. Command completed successfully. Now you say use with database. Use database. Oh, sorry, my bad. Use and the name of the database, it says does not exist. That means the database has been destroyed. So your database may be having hundreds of tables. Every table can have thousands of records. One command has destroyed everything. So you can see the power of this command, and you can consider this command as an atom bomb, which will destroy each and everything. Okay, and once destroyed, there is no undo option. You cannot get it back. Once gone means gone. Clear? So you have to be very careful while using this command. And to give you the further example, I'm doing the entire process again. I'm creating the database. I'm getting into the database. I'm creating the table over here. I'm inserting the records into the tables. Here it goes. And here it is. Okay, so this was the drop command. The next command which we have over here is a truncate command. Now, what is the worldly meaning of truncate? The worldly meaning of truncate is to empty. Truncate means to empty. So I will simply say truncate table stu. Truncate table stu. Let's execute this command completed successfully. And now let's try to get the contents of STU. What is the observation? All the records has been deleted. So in a way, you can say that truncate command has just worked like the delete command. And you are correct. Then again, important question. This is an interview question. What is the difference between truncate and delete? We are able to delete the records using the delete command as well as truncate command. Then what is the difference? So the difference is, and to show you that, I have to insert the records once again. Right. So if I write truncate table STU where roll number is equal to 4, it doesn't work, right? Because truncate command does not accept where clause. However, if I write delete STU, one row affected. So that is the difference between truncate and delete, that the truncate command does not accept where clause. However, delete does. Clear? Okay. Clear. Great. So let's see what comes next. Then we have SQL operators. Let's talk about the SQL operator. What is an operator? Operator is a reserved keyword which help us to perform some operations, right? Which are, we have arithmetic operator, comparison operator, logical operator, and few other operators. So let's talk about these operators. In the arithmetic operator, we have plus, minus, divide, multiply, and the last one. This is not known as percentage over here, but we call it as modulo. So let me give you an example of this. Select. Yeah, modulo. It is known as modulo. Select. Supposingly, I say 5 divided by 2. Now, what should be the answer? Ideally, it is 2.5, but we are getting the answer as 2. Why? Because 5 and 2 are the integer, and integer is not capable of handling the decimal places. So division operator returns the question. However, if I say 5 mod 2 and see what we will be getting, I am getting 1. So the modulus operator returns remainder. And if you wanted to find out 5.4 divided by 2, now you are getting 2.5. Okay. So because it is a decimal over here. So rest plus minus is simple. You can use it like this. Then we have comparison operator, which is equal to, not equal to, not equal to, greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to, not greater than, and not less than. Okay. So basically, this exclamation mark is not. If you put exclamation mark in front of anything, it becomes reverse. Equal to will become not equal to, and greater than will become not greater than. So let's take an example, and I have another table over here. Let me say use. I have a table with the name EMP cell, in which I have the salary details of the employees, and I have 80 records over here. Okay. Now, supposingly I say, I want to get the details of only HR team members, only the HR team members. So I can say select start from employee salary, where department is equal to HR. So I'm getting 9 records over here. So I have used a comparison operator over here, that is equal to. Okay. Now, supposingly I say I want to get the details of all the team members other than the HR team members. So where department is not equal to HR. So I'm getting 71 records excluding the HR team members, and not equal to can also be written like this. Same output. Okay, there are two ways of writing the not output. Then few other comparison operator like greater than. So I want to get the details of all those employees whose salary is more than say 200,000. So I will say select star from employee salary where select star from employee salary mm, where salary is more than 200,000. So I'm getting 13 employees where the salary is more than 200,000. Okay. So these are the comparison operators we have over here. Then we have logical operators, which are and or not. And these operators are used to combine the multiple conditions. Example, I want the list of ops managers. Ops manager. So two conditions are there that the designation should be manager and the department should be ops. So I will say select star from employee salary where department is equal to ops and designation equals manager. So we have 4 ops manager over. So and means both the condition is true. When both the condition is true, then only you will be getting the output. Okay. Then we have or. Or means either of the condition should be true. For an example, I want to get the details of ops team members or the managers. So let me say or over here and see what happens. Oh. You are getting 23 records over here. I'm getting a person from MIS. Why? Because he's a manager. I'm getting a detail of a VP. Why? He is from the ops. So if either of the condition is true, we will be getting the output. So that is or. Not. Not basically reverse the condition. Now, supposingly, I write a query that I want to get the details of ops team members. So the query will be this. Select star from EMP where department is equal to ops. Now I am saying I want to get the details of all the team members who are not from ops department, who are not from ops. So one way is I can use over here not equal to. So I'm getting 64 records. All the team members other than the ops team members I am getting over here. Okay. So this I have done it using the comparison operator, but I wanted to use a logical operator. So where not department is equal to ops, and see I am getting the same result. So the condition is still that the department should be ops, but by default, SQL will give the output whenever the condition is true. But because of not, the condition has been reversed. Now the SQL will give the output whenever the condition is false. Okay. Right. Let's see further. Okay. We have some other operators which are between. Now, between is used for range. If I wanted to talk about range, for an example, I want to get the list of the team members whose salary is between 200 to 300,000. I can use between, that is select star from EMP underscore cell where salary between 200,000 and 300,000. So you can see I'm getting 7 team members where the salary is between 200 to 300,000. Okay. So that is between. So you can remember whenever we talk about range, the answer is between. Then we have in operator. In operator is used for list. For an example, I want to get the details of IT admin and HR team members. IT admin and HR. So I can say select start from employee salary where department in IT admin, comma HR. So you can see HR, admin, and IT team members. Total 25 team members are being displayed over here. Clear? So in is used for list. Then we have like, which we have already talked about. Then we have is null, which is used to check the null values within the field. So let me say select staff from employee salary where salary is null. And here it goes. So I have one employee whose salary details has not been updated. So it will give me all those records where the value is null. So it is used to find out the null values of a particular field. Okay. Then we have distinct operator, which is used to find the distinct values of a particular field. So now I suppose I wanted to find out what all departments are there in my company. So I can say select distinct department from employee salary. Here it goes. So I have 6 team members, sorry, 6 teams, 6 departments over here: admin, HR, IT, MIS, ops, and temp. Okay. So this is a distinct operator. Then we have exist operator. Exist operator is used to check the existence of the data. And we will be talking more about this operator when we will be working with subqueries. In the next session, we will be talking about subqueries. Then I will give you an example of exist operator. And with this, we come to the next assignment over here. And it is quite similar to the previous one, where in the same database demo, you will be creating a table called employee salary with the following fields. That is employee ID, department, designation, date of joining, and salary. You need to insert 7 records into this table and use the select command to view the contents of the table. From the employee table, list all the employees with the last name as Sharma. So for which you have to use a like operator. Increase the salary of all the managers by 10%. Okay. So you have to use the operators, arithmetic as well as the comparison operators need to be used over here. Okay. So this is it. The next topic which is coming up over here is the normalization. And before I proceed on, how is it going? Can we have some response? Let me see. Between is only for numeric data. Yes, absolutely correct. No precedence of awesome, great. Right. Are you getting the value? If yes, type in value. If you are getting the value, type in value in the chat box. You have value, yes. Quite good. Okay. Value. Yes. Value. Okay. So you have invested somewhere around 2 hours with me, and I want to give you the maximum which I can within the limited period of time. So yes, you are getting the values. So I think now SQL is not a stranger for you, and you are familiar with the SQL now. Okay. So it seems that very informative sessions. Good. Very excited for joins and subqueries. Okay, so in that case, Harsha, you have to wait till tomorrow. In the next session, we will be covering up the joins and the subqueries, definitely. And we will be also talking about this normalization. Other clauses having group by, oh, it is in the pipeline. Don't worry, Nisha, about that. Many more things up yet to come. Okay. Right. So I think this is the place where we can take a right or okay, not we will not take a pause over here. Thank you. Wow. So it's good to see a big doubt about group. Hold on, wait. There is one more day to go. Don't worry. I will try to answer your maximum questions. In the next session, we will be talking about group by having. Okay, so let's have a quick word with normalizations. Uh, Okay, so normalization, what is normalization? Normalization is a set of rules. And the easiest way to understand the normalization is just compare it with the traffic rules. Think for a minute, your city without traffic rules. What will happen? What will happen? City without the traffic rules. All chaos. Okay, everything goes hayway. So similarly, in the database also, when you are maintaining and manipulating the data, you need to have some rules to effectively manage and manipulate the data. I need your patience for a few more minutes. I will not take more much time, just uh, just most maximum 10 minutes. But this is very important thing from the interview point of view. You will definitely get a question in the interview. What do you understand by normalization? So I'm putting it in a very simple words. Okay. So be here till the end of this session. So normalization, as I said, it is a set of rules. Why normalization? There are two major reasons behind the normalization. One is eliminating data redundancy, and second, ensuring data dependencies make sense, which means data redundancy means duplicating of the data. So I should not store the same data into the multiple places. As you can see, I have given you two tables in the assignment. In one table, you have to, in one table that is EMP, I have maintained the personal detail of the employee. And in the second table, I have maintained the official information of the employee. Okay. And if I have stored the name and the address in one table, I should not store the same thing into the second table. So that is known as data redundancy. So it should not be there. Secondly, data dependency should make sense, which means there should be some relationship between the tables. Example, if I have an employee number 1 to 10 in my employee table, can I store the salary details of employee number 15? I cannot, right? So this will be possible only when there is some relationship between the tables, and that is can be done with the help of normalization. How? We will just see that. So in the normalization, there are different normalization form. We have the first normalization form. In short, we call it as 1NF, which says define the data items. This means looking the data to be stored, organizing the data into the column, defining what type of data each column contains, and finally putting the related columns into their own table. So defining the data item means what all attributes regarding the entity you wanted to maintain. As we are talking about the employee, we are just seeing what all information we will be capturing, like name, address, city, phone, email, date of birth, date of joining, department designation, salary, gender, etc. So just collate all the attributes which you need to capture and then give them an appropriate column name. Specify what type of data, like phone number, whether it will be an integer, character, employee ID will be integer, character, or it will be a varchar type. So date of joining will be date or date time, etc. So specify the date time, and now finally split the data into multiple tables, right? Whatever the data is related, keep it in a separate tables. So that is what the first normalization form is saying. The second point, it is saying that there is no repeating group of data. So if you have put some data in one table, the same data, as I have given you the example, I have stored the name of the employee in the employee table. So I should not store the name again into the salary table. Third point, it says that ensure that there is a primary key. Now, what is a primary key? Key means field. Key means field. So primary key is a field on the basis of which the record can be uniquely identified. There should be some particular attribute on the basis of which we can identify that these two records are unique, they are different to each other. So that is also first normalization form is saying. So let's go to the second normalization form, which says all the rules first normalization form should be met. So that is, if your database is following second normalization form, first normalization form is automatically implemented. And it is saying there must be no partial dependencies of any column on the primary key. So for this, let me give you an example. Let's say I have two employees, Robert and Mark, joining on the same date and the same time, and I have the employee ID E1 and E2 available with me. Now I can assign E1 to Robert and E2 to Mark, or I can also assign E2 to Robert and E1 to Mark. Assuming this employee ID is the primary key. So what this second statement is saying, that there must be no partial dependency of any column on the primary key, which means no other field should influence the primary key. No other field should influence the primary key. However, once the primary key has been assigned, all the other fields will be recognized with the primary key. If I have assigned, I have no restriction that I should assign E2 to Robert and E1 to Mark. According to my requirement, I can also give E1 to Robert and E2 to Mark. Okay. So no restriction on me, but once I have assigned E1 to Robert, Robert will always be recognized by E1 only. So that is the second normalization form, that the primary key should not be influenced by any other key or field. Then comes the third normalization form, which says it should meet all the rules of second NF. That is, first is also there and second is also there, and the table should have relationship. As I just given you an example, that there should be a relationship between the tables. So for an example, if I have the employee number 1 to 10 in the employee table, I should be able to insert the salary details only for these employees. And this is only possible when there is a relationship between the tables. Okay. So the table should have a relationship. That is the third normalization. The next thing which comes up over here is the constraints. But before we proceed on with the constraints, some questions on normalization. Interview questions. In the very basic question which is asked in the interview, what is normalization? So the simple answer, normalization is a set of rules. Second question, why normalization? Answer is eliminating data redundancy, ensuring data dependencies make sense. Third question, how many normalization forms are there? So we have 3 normalization forms, 1NF, 2NF, and 3NF. Question number 4, can there be any more normalization form? Can there be 4, 5, 6 normalization form be also there? The answer is yes. We can have n number of normalization form, right? Now, just few minutes back, I have compared normalization form with the traffic rules. Now we have some standard traffic rules which are applicable everywhere, like stopping at the red light, wearing a seat belt, wearing a helmet. It is applicable everywhere. But some places we have U-turn not allowed, left turn not free. These are not applicable everywhere, but these are only applicable at certain places. So same in your structure, whenever you are working in SQL, you are creating any structure, 1, 2, 3 normalization form will always be there. 101% sure it will be there. Okay. But suppose in your company, you have a rule that the minimum salary of an employee should be 50,000. So this becomes a rule. Now your structure should be strong enough to restrict the entry of an employee with a salary less than 50,000. So this becomes a fourth normalization form. It is a rule. Okay. So this is the normalization. Okay. So this type of questions you can expect in the interview, and you will definitely get a question in the interview from normalization. If you appear for an interview, if you go for a certification also, you will be getting this. Okay. So this is about normalization. The next topic which is coming up over here is the constraint, but not worry, we will not be proceeding on with the constraint in the today's session. We will be proceeding on with the constraint in our next session, that is tomorrow, the same time. Okay. So thank you for your time. It's a pleasure interacting with you all, and very great to see that you are so prompt in responding. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Take care. See you tomorrow. Bye.